by. Hard to win in college football. Thought we played a pretty clean first half. I felt like, I think we scored the ball 4 times, scored 4 touchdowns, and didn't give up a score, so I felt pretty good about that. And then second half, their quarterback got hot, and we didn't play well. We didn't do a good job the entire night defensively of getting off the field on third down. They were 12 of 17, on third down, and that's converted way too many third downs. Can't let that happen. So obviously got to improve in that area. I think we had only 8 possessions in the game, scored 6 touchdowns, threw an interception, and punted at the end. I think the first offense starting group was 6 of 6 when it came to scoring touchdowns on drives. So felt like those guys executed fairly well. Like I said, wish we would have ended the game a little cleaner than we did. But, unfortunately, that's kind of the way some of these games go sometimes. We just seemed like at halftime we just came out and didn't have the same kind of mindset and killer mentality we needed to in the second half. And we got to do a better job. I've got to do a better job getting our players ready when they have that kind of situation. Felt like we did a really good job a week and a half ago against North Carolina. We were up 20-7 at halftime and scored on the first possession of the second half, and really felt like we pulled away, and just for whatever reason tonight, we didn't have that same kind of mentality. We got to have that and got to do a better job.
So win number 100 for you, what does that achievement mean to you?
I guess it means I've been doing it for a while. I guess it's a good thing. What's funny is none of them are easy. That's the one thing you learn. They're all hard. They're hard to come by. They're hard to get. It's hard to win in college football. Hard to hang around long enough, I guess, to get to 100. But that's a credit to the players. They're the ones that do the things. And so, yeah, it's neat, but I hadn't really thought about it too much. I didn't really realize it until somebody said something about it.
Man, Jack and Ed Small both had really good days for
Yeah.
Sonny. Can you just talk about both?
Yeah, I'm really pleased for both those guys. Thought they both played well. It was Joseph's first 100-yard game in his career, 39 games. I didn't realize that. I thought he played well. He made some big plays on third down. In particular, that first third down in the second half, where they went down and scored, and then we needed to kind of get something going. In his third and long, and he made a big play, and I thought he played well. Obviously, thought Ed Small played well. Made some really tough catches, ran some good routes. The good thing is we've got a lot of depth at that position. Jordan Bailey had a little bit of an ankle deal that happened on the opening kickoff, and he could have played, but we just chose to not play him and let some of those guys get some work. And Ed Small stepped right in and played like a veteran. So was happy to see that, and it creates a bunch of competition at that spot now.
Thoughts on spreading the ball around 10 different pass catchers?
Yeah. I think that goes to the fact that Josh trusts those guys. He just believes that they're going to do what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it. I thought we really protected the passer well tonight. They didn't get a lot of pressure. We saw a lot of blitzes and different things, and I thought Josh did a good job of moving when he had to in the pocket and buying some time and looking downfield and making some really good throws out of the pocket. Thought he did a really good job of doing that. Was really pleased with the decisions that he made. Thought he really looked comfortable, the whole night. And again, I think the receivers did a good job catching the ball, running routes. I was a little disappointed with how he ended the game. Ken Seals has really performed so well in practice. Figured Ken would kind of pick up where Josh left off, and we just underthrew a ball a little bit and threw an interception. Terry probably could have helped him a little bit by trying to get the ball out of the defender's hands, but I wish we would have finished the game a little bit better on offense. We needed to get some young players in the game, and I thought the young offensive line I thought did a good job, and the young running backs I thought ran hard, but we just didn't finish it maybe the way we needed to.
What's the status of Kavorian? Was that precautionary?
Yeah. We just we had a couple of guys that got nicked a little bit in the game, and DJ, same kind of thing. I think they're all going to be fine. I don't think there's going to be anything significant with any of those guys. We just kind of got them out of the game as quickly as we could.
On some of those completions ACU got, the defense looked like they were there, but just didn't finish.
Yeah. You know, they underthrew some of those balls, and you know, I think we were probably a little late getting turned around and reacting to the ball. We're trying to play the defender. Now the defender's playing the ball, and we had a problem. I think a couple times at corner where they underthrew those balls. You know, I was a little disappointed the way we played at that position overall. You know, I thought we had, I think, 3 pass interference penalties. We had a late hit on the quarterback. You know, I didn't think we played very well at corner.
Was there anything that they showed offensively that they hadn't shown before?
Nothing different, really. No, just all stuff that we were kind of prepared for. We just got on our heels a little bit and had a hard time getting them stopped. You know, it's funny when you're playing a game like that and you have a big lead, you don't want to give up a one-play touchdown. That's the only way they get back in the game. And so sometimes you have a tendency to let them bleed some stuff out, and they ran the ball pretty effectively on us. And you know, and the thing was, if they were going to score, we wanted to make them, you know, drive the length of the field and burn the clock. And so when you kind of have that mentality, sometimes it doesn't always look real pretty.
With the Iron Skillet coming up this next week, did you get the sense that maybe guys were looking ahead a little bit?
I didn't think we had as good a week. I didn't think we were as focused and practiced as well as we did going into North Carolina. Yeah, I mean, I had that sense a little bit, maybe after practice on Wednesday. We just weren't as clean. Our walkthrough wasn't as good on Thursday. Run through on Friday wasn't the same. We got to do a better job of doing that. You know, I told the guys in the locker room, you know, we just can't afford to not prepare and play our best. You know, especially in the Big 12, week in, week out. I mean, you're going to get beat if you don't play well, and if you're not excited to play. And so it just seemed like we lost a little bit of our edge at halftime, being up 28-0, and that's something that, you know, we have to do better. We're trying to get there as a program, and I'm not sure we have, you know, in order to be able to close those games the way that you want to close them. And it's hard. I mean, look around college football, it's hard to do that. You know, it's hard, but you got to find a way to do it if you want to be a great team.
You got teams like Kansas State who have played 4 games, and then you guys just
It's weird. Yeah.
How much harder is it to establish a rhythm?
Yeah, it's weird. It's been weird. I mean, our schedule's been strange. Yeah, it has been. I credit our players for adapting and you know, and figuring it out. But it is weird. I mean, there were a number of teams that had already played 4 games, and you know, before our game kicked off. You know, and so it's been a strange start to the season just from a scheduling standpoint, but. It's one of the things that we had to do to accommodate the North Carolina game, and I think that's a game that, you know, I think when it's all said and done, we were glad that we were able to move it to Monday night and play on national television.
Jordan continues to be a good presence at receiver.
Yeah, just makes plays, man. You know, he just makes plays, and Josh trusts him, and I think those two right now are really on the same wavelength, you know, and he he's just got a way of making competitive plays on the ball, and he puts himself in a great position, and you know, he's just a sneaky good receiver.
To Josh as well, had a really solid night throwing.
Yeah, he did. I thought he threw it really well. I mean, there were a couple of things that we were off on, you know, 1 or 2, but not much. I mean, he's, like I said earlier, he threw the ball really, really well on the run, moving the pocket. When he broke from the pocket, he made great decisions. You know, to me, that's one of the things that he really needed to improve in was the decisions that he made when he left the pocket. I thought he was really good with the ball tonight. I thought he made really good decisions, didn't try to force anything. I thought he did a really good job taking care of the ball.
Anything else?